Yeah, hold on. Look at that big beard, man. I'm going I'm going grizzly. All right, there we go. What's going on, everybody? I got a big beard. I got a big beard. Look at that. Yeah, my mustache hangs over my mouth. I gotta shave that. All right, I gotta see if I can see the comments first. Can you guys? I can't see the comments. Damn it! Are they really going to make me open up a whole nother tab? Oh my dear Lord, this is awful. YouTube, come on, man. You'll make more money than Kim Kardashian. Never mind. I can't say that. Do you guys like my thumbnail? All right, hold on. Can you guys hear me? Yo, what's going on, Hand Cream? Can you guys hear me? Yo. No, I'm not handsome, I can assure you. I got a big beard. I look pretty ugly right now. But it's okay. You know what? I will say thank you. That's a nice thing for you to say. So yeah, we got a question and answer session coming up. All right. So I've been playing a lot. I am now tier 5. I should be tier 5 too, but I lost a bunch of. This is one of the worst ranked matches I've ever played. It was pretty bad. Anyways, yeah, so we're going to have a question and answer session. I have a YouTube video that's currently uploading for tomorrow. It's a Ripper montage. It is dope. It is dope. It's a good montage. There's a lot of terror shocks, a lot of me showing you how I play Ripper. People forget that I used to be a top 20 hunter, so I've been practicing Ripper on the side, practicing my hunter. But I want to open the floor up to you all. I figured a good question and answer session would be a pretty fun session to do, especially since I'm kind of controversial because, I have pretty much an abrasive personality. So I would like to answer the questions and try to answer them all as much as I can. And, it can be Identity 5 related. It could be Persuadable related. And we'll have a good time. We'll just chill. I'm not sure what you guys are doing. I know some people are playing 5v5, but what's going on, everybody? So, are you talking in the video? If you don't, I don't want it. Just kidding. Let's go. Bro, you're way too good for Identity 5. I don't think I am, actually. I am actually a very flawed person. I assure you that. I promise you. Why do you have to do these live streams when I'm about to sleep? Because I have horrible timing. I'm top 19 forward, and I don't trust myself. Can you run a guide on Prospector? I don't play much of Prospector. To be honest with you, I think Prospector is a joke. I think Enchantress is a joke. I think Priestess is a joke, and I think usually bad players tend to play them. I know that, see, my abrasive personality is coming out, which offends people sometimes. But, I mean, if you usually, what's funny? I had somebody, I played against a Priestess user, and they were like, how did I do? And I'm like, you played Priestess. What do you want me to tell you? I'm like, but how did I do? I'm like, well, you used your portal right up. You literally stayed in a part of the match, like the part of the map the entire time, and specifically made sure that you didn't leave that part of the map, and you just used your portal, which required me to go all the way around every single time. What do you want me to tell you? That you're skilled? No, you're using Priestess for a reason. Any thoughts on Dream Witch? Dude, Dream Witch can be annoying. Oh my god. There are some good Dream Witch users right now. Spectre's Dream Witch is good. I haven't gone against Trouble Miki's Dream Witch, but I hear she's very good. So Spectre is definitely good. There's this one person who's been experimenting a lot, Fuki the guy or Fuki or something like that. They did a very good job. So those are definitely the best Dream Witch players in the server right now. Let's see, Persuadable. More like Comrade Dan taking you out because you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. Meanwhile, Blue Race Car, when Persuade says Prospector is bad. No, I think Prospector is overpowered. I think that if you're using Prospector, it's probably because you don't know how to kite, so you're I don't have any pleasure playing Prospector. He's broken. Every single hunter says it. So if I go on live feed or if I make YouTube videos of me showing you how I play Prospector, there's gonna be a whole bunch of people who are like, okay, you're kiting the hunter, but you're also playing one of the most broken survivors in the game. So that opens me up for what I would consider very reasonable criticism. So I just, you know what I mean? There's a lot of prospectors who are very good at what they do, but again, I don't consider him. If I go against you as a prospector, I'm going to try to bleed you out because I dislike you that much. I will literally bleed you out and put a peeper on you and just let you die from blood because I don't like that does toxic. I get toxic. I'm toxic just like the rest of you. I literally have been playing matches as Ripper where if I down a prospector right away, I'll literally put a peeper on them and walk away and just let you bleed to death and come back and then kill you again. I don't even care if I tie the match. I'll do it. What tier is Lizard Boy in your opinion? I don't know yet. I know a lot of people have been asking me for a tier list. I checked out iAliens tier list. I don't think it's a good tier list. I haven't come out with a tier list because they're supposed to. Oh my god. So one of the annoying things is that I keep trying to wait to do a tier list, but then the devs are always so proactive in trying to change the game that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait for the next update, and then the next thing I know, they tell me something different, like, oh, in 2 weeks this is going to happen, and I keep waiting for the right moment, and then I realize it's been 6 months, and I know a lot of people are waiting for it. Because the reason why people look at my tier list is because it has the most objective data. We don't just, and this is what happens with other people, is that they make their character tier list and they just randomly slap random characters on their tier list with no objective data whatsoever. And then you have somebody who's like, oh, well, I'm a high tier player. And this is what I see. And it's like, well, I'm a high tier player, and some of the things that I see are wrong. And the objective data actually shows that my subjective opinion is wrong. So we look at the objective data. So I'm going to wait on that. I am going to virtually shave off that beard of yours because I'm salty that I suck so bad at beads here. Nah, don't say that, Hand Cream. Hand Cream, I used to be a top hunter. People forget that. So just because I killed you super fast, doesn't mean anything. The 150 ping that I have is garbage, though. I miss a lot of my easy foggy blades right now. Yeah, I actually faced Grizzly today. We were in 5v5. I faced Grizzly today, and I made his team surrender. And then I made sure that my team also surrendered. So as of now, Grizzly and Persuadable, we are tied. I told Grizzly, I was like, I can't be winning against you. We brothers. We tied. As far as I'm concerned, me and Grizzly, the only time we've actually gone against each other, we're tied. That's it. What do you think of the new persona changes? I'm not sure yet, but it seems okay. I think that the hunters need it. I think that the hunters will benefit from it. You wait for me, boo. I'm 64 perfumer now. Good job, Chris. You keep going up. I think I'm ranked 4th perfumer on the server right now. Give or take. What do you think about her? I say she's a 3-in-1. What do you mean by that? I'm sorry. Is Wildling just a slower decoding forward with less save potential? I think that Wildling is not as dangerous as a good forward. When will you make another tier list? I keep saying soon, and then I keep delaying it. I got a good video, but I've been playing Identity 5 so much on many different accounts and stuff that I've been trying to get montages and trying to get my skill back up, and I am kind of consolidated to that 150 ping. It makes it a little difficult. How do you feel about the new Survivor Juggler? I like that the fact that I think that you have to acquire things based on doing certain things in the match. Like you don't just get all these clays and all these. You have to do things in order to acquire them. But I'm not sure if you spawn with one. Are you dating Grizzly? No, I'm dating Dario. With the new Survivors, Prospector and Enchantress, along with Juggler, who will be meta? Do you think Magician will still be in tournament gameplay? Some people will try to use Magician. If you have top magicians, they might try to use them because they're consistent. But, especially if hunters continue to get nerfed, I mean, you use magician against characters like Ripper and like Spider. Spider's being nerfed, so people are just going to ban Ripper. What are your thoughts on the Cowboy? Cowboy can be dangerous. I underestimated him. I hope in July 4th, Dez will rebalance the game good enough because the Gen Rush is mental. Yeah, I'm actually going to talk about whether I think Dead by Daylight Mobile is going to kill Identity Fine. Does Geisha need a buff? Yeah, probably. Persuade. Can you do more Hunter videos? Because more players need to be inspired to play Hunter. We literally have no Hunters in rank. I wait 20 minutes for Mammoth 1. You wait 20. My general rule of thumb, unless you're playing like these characters that have fun, but if you're in rank mode and you're playing Priestess, Prospector, or Enchantress, you're probably a bad player. And you're probably contributing to the problem in this game where they're consistently releasing these ridiculous survivors that should not have these skills. Like when you go against a hunter, you should be scared. Like season 1, season 2, you were relatively scared. Season 3, you were scared. Except Perfumer and then Seer came out. But like still, you now every single survivor, it's a joke. It's literally a joke. And the thing is that you guys all know that I have a great relationship with the dev team. You guys know that. That's no joke. They paid for my trip to Shanghai. But they have never bought my channel out. They never will. They never tried to because they understand that the community likes me because of my weird personality. I'll tell you what I think when I think about it. Whether you like it or not, I tell you what I think. That's why I'm here. Right? I don't please everybody. I piss a lot of people off. I have opinions and analysis, and that's okay. They're not wrong. They're just on the other side, and that's okay. Right? I can get just as competitive and sometimes toxic as anyone else can. I'm a human being, guys. I don't try to act different on YouTube. I try to keep it real. All right? But the thing is that they've released all of these brain dead survivors. They've made it so, like when I first joined this game, I had so much pride in being a survivor when no survivors could survive. Everybody said the hunters were overpowered. I mean, it was everywhere. But then you saw my videos. You saw me absolutely destroying the best geisha in the game at the time. You saw me destroying the best clown at the time. You saw me destroying these hunters. And it inspired many people to play Survivor and to get better and to get good at it. And it built up a great community. And I told people, and listen, this pisses off some high tiers even today. I could literally name drop one high tier hunter and survivor who thinks they're God and they're genuinely not. They're pretty awful, but they pretty much build up everything based on their rank, which is rank 6, which isn't hard to get. But anyways, I've been telling people since day one, you can become a top survivor, you can become a top hunter. You just got to put the time and effort into it. All right. Regardless of whether you like my stances, my analysis, how I conduct myself, I've always said that. Go back to 2018. I've always said that any of you can become a top player. And I worked hard to be a top survivor at the game at the time, and I had immeasurable pride about it. I was proud, and I worked with so many people to get good at the game. And now I look at some of the players, and I'm like, you're relying on a portal that literally allows you to go halfway across the map because you don't know how to kite in the area that you're in. You have Prospector who can throw a magnet on the ground in between a pallet, which is in a narrow area of the map, which is the only way the hunter can get to you in certain parts of the map, unless they go around, which only buys you an extra 6 or 7 seconds to continue kiting even further. You have Enchantress who goes down and then she can 3-stun you or stun you and give enough time to get into the pallet, or stun you when you go through the pallet and then stun you with the pallet. And I look at that and I feel no more pride being a survivor. I feel no pride being a survivor anymore. I have all this footage on my phone. I literally have gone against some of the best rippers on the server, kited them 120 seconds. I have some good footage against Geisha. S-tier Geishas kited them. S-tier Feasters kited them. S-tier Dream Witches kited them. I still struggle with Dream Witch and Mad Eye sometimes because there's not enough of their players. So sometimes they have tricks that catch me off guard, and I can appreciate that to a degree. Sometimes I get salty. But I have faced all these top hunters in these different character tier lists, in these different, and I look at it and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Do I post this on Facebook? Do I post this on YouTube? What's the point? You have people who are priests who can just portal away, take no skill at all. You have people who use their seer owl and buys them 20 seconds of time. I have footage of me going down almost immediately, but because of the seer owl, it buys me enough time to technically kite for 60 seconds. Back in the day, that kite would have been 25 seconds. The hunter would have had a good advantage against me. And then I say this stuff, and then what happens is that you have a lot of top survivors who get upset with me because I'm now talking, I guess, quote unquote, shit about the survivors that have helped them get to the rank that they're at. And then you'll have people who are like persuadable. There's some top tiers who saying things like they don't like you. And it's like, well, I don't blame them for not liking me because I'm telling them that they got to their top tier using characters that require no skill. It requires some skill. Maybe I shouldn't be hyperbolic. So it gets into the question about Dead by Daylight Mobile. I'm very excited for Dead by Daylight Mobile. I'm very excited for Dead by Daylight Mobile because I like Dead by Daylight. I like the fact that even though kiting in that game is still relatively easy, I guess, if you want to put it that way, it still requires like some common sense. You can't just portal away. You can't just wait on Moonlit River and just portal across the map and require the hunter to jump across it or move across it. So the problem is that in the China market is not a problem actually at all. Okay? The China market is perfectly fine. Their market, I would presume, based on the basic analytics of YouTube that I was watching, their market is probably 6.5 times bigger than the US market, at minimum, maybe. The US market right now, the reason why hunters are quitting the game is because survivors are abusing the system. You guys have been offered some brain dead characters that require literally no skill whatsoever because the devs have catered to children, which is fine. That's their marketing strategy, I guess. And because they catered to children, you have a lot of people who are using really bad survivors because they're really bad survivors. And it gives them a fighting chance. So what happens? A whole bunch of some of our best hunters decided to leave. That's why a lot of our that is literally why you don't see hunters are not enjoying the game. And then what's even funnier is when you're a priestess and then you start trolling at the end of the match. Listen, it requires no skill for your character. You have no skill. If I look at YouTube and I see that you're a priestess main, I won't watch any of your videos. I might as well watch a Call of Duty person with auto aim. Why would I watch that? It's ridiculous. I'm not learning anything. And I know that this opinion is going to piss off some people. That's okay. You're allowed to disagree with me. You're allowed to say that my opinion sucks, and you're allowed to say that I'm being abrasive. But at the end of the day, one thing is objectively true, and that is hunters are leaving the game. And so hunters are leaving the game, and we can completely live in this false fantasy for those who are egotistical enough to believe that they actually have some skill by using these ridiculous, or we can address it to head. There are more and more hunters leaving the game. There are more and more hunters not having fun playing the game. When you have brain dead survivors who require no skill to move their character, utilize their character, they can just stun you. And so what's going to happen is that when Dead by Daylight Mobile, if they actually release a good server, if they actually released a nice balanced game, the US market is screwed. The US market right now is pretty much filled with people between tiers 1, 2, and 3. Tiers 4 is where it dies out. And then there's a bunch of people tier 5. And then once you get too high in tier 6, it's dead again. Okay, which shows that the majority of the players in this game, there's a decent portion that's sticking with the game and getting to tier 5 and tier 6. A lot of them aren't really that great of players, but because they've been playing so long, if they can get to tier 4, it goes to tier 3 the next season. They get to tier 4 and 5, it goes to tier 4. So a lot of them have been playing for many months, and it's allowed them to elevate themselves to a higher tier. Okay? Those players are pretty loyal. But you have a lot of new players who are coming in who flock to tier 1s and tier 2s and tier 3s, but there aren't a lot of tier 4s. And so what's going to happen is that there's going to be more hunters that leave the game. And that's what we're seeing right now. That's why a lot of you right now are begging for more hunters. So whether you guys really like to hear this or not, you're a lot of the survivors who are using the overpowered survivors to rank up, it's killing the game. Because really it's not enjoyable. When I play Hunter with one, if I had 40 ping, then I'd be able to counter a lot, but I don't. I have 150 ping, right? So this is the reality of it. This is the reality of it. Survivors right now are brain dead. I don't have a lot of pride showing all of my survivor skills. In fact, that's why I'm going to start posting more of my survivor mistakes. I have more pride showing you the mistakes that I'm making as a survivor and showing you the mistakes that I'm making so you guys can learn from it than what I do showing you these excellent kites. If I wanted to be a sellout YouTuber, I'd just go Prospector. I'd just go Prospector. I would throw magnets down all the time, show you guys some kites where I can kite 80, 90 seconds every round using magnets, and then you all would say, oh, Persuadable's a god. I don't want to do it. They're removing one window, yeah, Persuadable. Here's actually a question that makes total sense that isn't for jokes whatsoever. Who do you look like? Why do you look like Freddie Mercury? I don't look like Freddie Mercury, I don't think. Do I? Okay, real question. Who, in your opinion, are the most balanced characters in the game? So, okay, so who do I think the most balanced characters are in the game? I actually think that. So, this is a hard question. What do? Do you buff all the hunters or do you nerf all the survivors? That's the question. Do you buff all the hunters or do you nerf all the survivors? Depending on your philosophy, you go from there. I would say Perfumer is on the borderline of. I would say that against Ripper. Ripper is the biggest counter to Perfumer. I'd say Perfumer was pretty much the most overpowered character for a long time. And then Spider was buffed, Ripper was buffed. She became somewhat manageable. If you're a good Ripper, you can counter a Perfumer. But every other hunter, it's difficult. Maybe an Axe Boy if you can actually land it. A Dream Witch, depending on what you're doing with it. But Geisha, no, don't go Geisha, man. Geisha's too easy to kite. I'd say Prospector is broken. Enchantress is broken. Priestess is broken. They're all garbage cat. I have no pride. If you use those survivors, you're probably a bad survivor. Plain and simple. I'm just putting it out there. If that upsets you, it's okay. You're allowed to be upset with me. You're allowed to disagree with me. But like when I'm a hunter and I get kited by like a perfumer as a ripper, I have respect for it because I know how to counter perfumer as a ripper. Same thing with a spider. Enchantress requires like no skill at all. I mean, yeah, a little bit. Prospector is just garbage. Priestess, awful. Priestess is the most ridiculous cat. I can't wait for the Priestess nerf. I cannot wait for the Priestess. I am going to be so. This is the one time I'm going to swear in this feed. I'm going to be so fucking happy when that Priestess nerf is happening. That's my goddaughter. She's crying in the background. What other questions do we have? Oof, my goddaughter. She is throwing a temper tantrum back there. Yeah, I don't know anything about PX. Wait, Persuade, what about those who use Priestess and actually kite without using their portals? Then why are they using Priestess? Do you think Evil Reptilian is balanced or weak? I think he's weak compared to some of the other hunters for sure. What hunter do you recommend? Ripper, always. What else do we got? I feel like quitting Hunter. Yep, because of the survivors. It's been so hard to win anymore. Persuadable, please help me. You know, there's a very select few minority of top hunters who are very good at the game who can counter them, but the majority of people, they're not going to have fun playing it. And that's why Identity 5 will continue losing players. Also, Persuade, I think that the survivors aren't really a problem in my honest opinion. Survivors are annoying but are manageable. I just think ciphers go too fast. I mean, that could be the case too. I mean, that's part of the problem. I'm not sure if separating the variables are an issue here. I mean, you could easily keep the game the same and just nerf the survivors and it would be fine. I mean, Priestess nerf. Hunters can also, yeah, hunters can go through the portals with the Priestess nerf. Can you add me persuadable? I right now I'm playing with the same group of people to make sure I keep practicing. Is magician still good or bad? I mean, right now, why risk it? Why risk the magician at that point? You might as well just go prospector or enchantress. You get off the damn machine. You get off the site the rocket chair and you could just throw a damn magnet down or you could just stun. So I mean magician I guess you can use illusion, but a lot of the times you're going back and forth between that illusion or you're juking back or it's harder to make distance, even if you get away temporarily with magician. Let's see. If you could give lawyer, can you add me persuadable, please? Andrew, when I come back to live feed, I will. Who is your favorite survivor and hunters? I do like perfumer. She can be kind of cheap too. So maybe I'm a hypocrite, but at least you can actually counter her if you use her correctly. Do you play Identity 5 after Dead by Daylight? No. What about Dancer? Dancer's gonna be fun. I think that the 100. So here's what's going to happen. You guys are asking a lot of questions about the 120 persona points. So here's what the issue is. All right, I'll tell you guys honestly. All right, the issue is that with the let me lower this a little bit. All right, with the 120 persona points, that also is supposed to come in conjunction with the hunter having the ability to change their traits throughout the match. So you're supposed, as a hunter, you're also supposed to be able to choose the trait at the beginning of the match, and at any point in time, you can change your trait to the end of the match. But I think what the issue is that it's going to be too difficult for survivors. I think that the survivors are going to bitch about it. They're going to bitch. They're going to complain. So I think what the devs are trying to do is that the devs, instead of trying to look at every single character and trying to nerf them all at once, they're looking at the hunters and they're saying, okay, what can we do better with this? Well, you increase the 120 persona for both, but the idea is that if you can change the traits on some of these survivor hunters, where you can start off with a trait and change it end game, it gives you a lot more flexibility. Whether that works out, I don't really know. Celine, he got bored of PUBG because I had too many hackers, so he looked for a new game and found Identity 5. Yeah, that's what happened. All right, Merc is almost used every time instead of Cord because Cord is counterable easily. Yeah. So Cord is super countered to Ripper. Will there be an 8 versus 2 tournament? I don't know. Last that I knew, it might be in the works. Persuadable, is Dancer balanced and does she need a new persona since she has no Volt and Nerve? I'd say she's pretty balanced, but I mean, there's other survivors who are way better because they're overpowered. So, do you buff her even more? Or do you nerf all the overpowered characters? And in defense of the devs, they're doing a good job with this. They looked at mechanic. Well, they've already nerfed mechanic based on the former tournaments. They nerfed Seer. They're nerfing Priestess. So what they need to do, they're nerfing. What they need to do, they've already nerfed Enchantress. They need to look at Prospector and just delete them. That would be fun. Or make it so he actually has to earn his magnet. You're gonna come out with a juggler that supposedly is supposed to earn things. You might as well have somebody like him. Or I mean, the Prospector. If you get good with him, you can triple stun for 20 seconds. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Delete Prospector. Perspective, do you think they should nerf 4 doc teams like they did 4 priestesses? No, docs are easy to kill. No, doc teams are easy to kill. What counters Prospector? Ripper. All right, guys, I wanted to do a quick little live feed here. I wanted to say hi to you all. You guys are the reason why the YouTube keeps building. It's crazy that I've never taken YouTube super seriously. And we're almost at 20,000. We're almost at 19,000 subs. It's crazy. And I don't deserve it because, like, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who always ask me for my advice. I can't really give you guys advice because I don't understand why people follow me. I'm kind of a jerk with how I tell people, like, I just went on about how Priestess requires no brain, no skills, and that's offensive. That's not nice to the people who play her. It really is not a polite thing to say. But the fact that you guys can listen to my analysis and my gameplay, and you guys have been rooting for me to continue building up my resume and continue expanding. I appreciate that. Listen, I wish that I could be fake on YouTube. I don't have the heart to do it. Um, so I appreciate that you guys actually like my personality. Listen, I know I'm a lot to deal with sometimes. I get that. Sometimes I get too passionate. I get loud. I got dumb dad jokes. I laugh a lot. Sometimes I get way too intense and way too competitive with my own teammates. Trust me, it happens all the time. But the fact that you guys can continue supporting me, I think the number one thing that I want to kind of let you guys know, especially not only as a human being, but as a clinician, is that I want to I'm not perfect, right? I screw up all the time. I promise you that, even as a clinician. But the thing is that I do the best that I can to show you guys like all my flaws, all the things that are good about me, and particularly the things that are bad about me. And the reason being so is that I want you guys to understand that you're allowed to feel comfortable with yourselves, with your inadequacies. You're not going to be perfect. And I can absolutely assure you that there are a lot of people who are not perfect, but will criticize you for not being perfect because it's their way of deflecting from their own personal problems, and it's easier for them to focus on you. So when I show my personality and I be my abrasive self, and we show the positive side, sometimes we get super sappy, sometimes we get super inappropriate, whatever. We show all the components of my personality. The idea, the emphasis on that is that none of us are perfect, and you should not follow people who pretend that they are. Because the worst thing that us clinicians do is that we pretend that we're different from you. We try way too hard to be overly professional, and I don't want to do that. So the fact that I've been able to kind of be a little controversial and do my own thing, and still kind of lead with a good heart, but also get annoyed and get salty just like everybody else, and just try to live a productive life. The fact that y'all can mess with that, I appreciate that. I mean that. It shows more about you than me, because I can assure you, I'm just some dude that gets on YouTube and talks a lot. That's it. None of us YouTubers are anything special. None of us are. There's not a single YouTuber in Identity 5 who's anything special. None of us are. What's special is the fact that the community supports us. We have a pretty good community, and I genuinely mean that. I gotta get going. I gotta eat some pizza. You guys have a good day now. Take care.